Welcome to the Echo Tips Podcast.
Here's a sneak peek into what we're going to cover in this week's episode of the Echo Tips Podcast.
Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The shadow knows.
Well, hello, and welcome to the Echo Tips Podcast this week. It's good to have you returning listeners and you new listeners here with us as well. First off, I'll mention our topic for this week, and it's going back and dusting off a goodie, but one that I really loved, and that is listening to old-timey radio on your favorite A-Lady device. So those old radio shows like Gunsmoke and Perry Mason and Superman and The Shadow and just so many old goodies are out there waiting for your Amazon Echo to queue them up and play them with all those old-timey commercials about blue coal and blue bonnet margarine, and it's just amazing to travel back in time and hear these old-timey radio shows, and you can listen to them on your very own Amazon Echo. But before we delve into that in any sort of detail, I will mention to our new listeners, once again, welcome to the podcast. I'm the host. My name is David Ward. I'm an assistive technology instructor with the New Vision program at Goodwill, based here in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Southwest Virginia. And you'll find that our show is a weekly show. We try to release them generally around Wednesday, new shows. And we've been on for, we're concluding our 6th season now. We try to keep our shows somewhere in the 15 to 25 minute range. Occasionally we'll have what's called an omnibus episode, which is a ginormous episode where we kind of cram everything in on a particular topic, like reminders or alarms or we did AI and stuff like that. And we may do a few more of those as well. But we cover all things for every imaginable discipline. Accessibility tools for those with disabilities. We talk about applications for parents, caregivers, seniors, music lovers, children, home automation, security, watching videos on them, just all sorts of things you can do with your Amazon Echo. But before we delve into our topic today, old-timey radio, we're going to go to a brief message about our podcast. And then, as always, we will be right back.
This episode is brought to you by New Vision at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys, and also made possible in part by a grant from the Virginia Board for the Blind and Vision Impaired. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving Central, Southwest, and Southside Virginia. Goodwill's mission is to empower individuals, strengthen families, and inspire communities. And we thank you for listening. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision.
Well, hello again. And as I said, we're going to be delving into old-timey radio. That's right, those crystal radios and those old-timey radios, amazing. All that old content like Superman and The Shadow, and you think of all those old-timey shows. Now, there is an organization. Now, you can find different outlets, and you could admittedly try to say, hey, play Gunsmoke on TuneIn or iHeartRadio, and you may run into a streaming station that contains that content. But what if you wanted to listen from the very first episode on in an on-demand fashion, like we're fancy, like Netflix or something, right? Where we watch it as we want to watch it. Well, you can do that, and there's an organization out of California called Apply. I'm probably not saying that right. It's appbly.com. Their website is very sparse, almost non-existent content on there. I haven't tried to dig into every aspect of it, but I was trying to find a listing of all the different old-timey radio shows. Now, if memory serves, I feel like they are a nonprofit or associated with a nonprofit, but I could be wrong about that. But one of their missions has been to take old-timey content that was of a public domain nature, meaning just out of copyright or something like that, and make it available again to the general public. And the way they've been doing a lot of this is through these A-Lady skills. So you'll have like a specific skill for Superman, and it will be called Radio Superman. And generally the nomenclature follows whatever it is. So radio precedes and then the title of the show, or a very close facsimile of what the show title was. So it might be Radio the Shadow or something like that. Now, they have now the beauty of the skill component here is that it really allows you to listen to episodes from beginning to end. It remembers where you were. Sometimes you can even be prompted, what episode would you like to listen to? And you could jump forward a couple seasons and things like that. But let's stop talking about it and actually show you. So if you have an echo and hearing distance of me, we're about to start our demos. You may want to shut its ears off unless you want to hear this both in your house and here on the podcast at the same time. You're always welcome to pause the podcast and then come back and resume, or you can rewind or whatever. Okay, so let's delve right in. Let's go with a golden option here. And I forgot. I was going through all the effort to tell you guys to shut your ears off, and I actually have my Echo that's hooked up to the mixer right now set to the wake word Ziggy. So I'm not going to say the A-Lady name, incidentally enough. But here we go. Ziggy, open Radio Superman.
Handing off to Radio Superman by upbully.com. You were listening to Radio Superman, episode 1663, Dead Man's Secret Part 6, March 3rd, 1948. Please say yes to resume or no to play from the beginning of the playlist.
Yes. So I was in the middle of a show here.
Startled, Clark Kent stares at Robert Archer in dismay. His plan to trap the boot fallen apart like a house of cards. What will happen now?
I don't know.
We'll be back in a moment for the stunning climax of today's episode. So keep listening.
We're going to go to a commercial.
Say, did you remember to make your contribution to the March of Dimes today?
Oh, my goodness.
Well, if you didn't, ask your folks right now to give you at least
Ziggy,
one dime to turn
stop.
in.
So that's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Let's try one more. Ziggy, open Radio The Shadow.
Handing off to Radio The Shadow by upbully.com. Enjoy the Radio The Shadow podcast, playing 208 detective episodes of The Shadow. Please say 1 or 2 up to 208. Now which episode would you like to play?
1.
Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The Shadow knows.
Ziggy, stop. All right, so that's a really cool way to listen to these shows. I love it because it gives you the capacity to listen from the beginning. It remembers where you were, and you can jump around too a little bit. So super, super cool. Now, I was hoping to find a listing for you guys that you could really kind of delineate this real easily. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anything. Probably your best bet is, if you know of an old-timey show you want to listen to, just go on to Amazon.com in a computer web browser and then just change your selection from sorting for all devices or all equipment or whatever it is, all products. Hit that drop down and change it to A-Lady Skills. And then in the search box, type radio and then space and then whatever the name of the old-timey show was, like Perry Mason or Gunsmoke or something like that. And that's an easy way to run a search and hopefully see if you can find it or not. If I do discover a listing somewhere in the future, though, I'll be sure to let you guys know. Well, if you have any thoughts or suggestions for a future episode, we'd love to hear your feedback, and you're always welcome to give that to us at info@goodwillvalleys.com, or you can drop us a note on Facebook or Twitter, now known as X, and just in either case, in the email or those posts, just in the signature line, or in the subject line or somewhere in there, make sure that you're trying to reach Dave of the Echo Tips podcast or New Vision, and that way that message will be directed to me. Well, until next time, it's time to turn the ears on your Echo back on, start practicing some of the many, many things that you've learned. I'm David Ward for the New Vision program, and we do thank you for listening.
This episode is brought to you by New Vision at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys, and also made possible in part by a grant from the Virginia Board for the Blind and Vision Impaired. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving Central, Southwest, and Southside Virginia. Goodwill's mission is to empower individuals, strengthen families, and inspire communities. And we thank you for listening. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision.